game we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick. I saw Urban Meyer last night looking like he was ready to cry. Now, I know I'm no expert on Urban Meyer, but I got somebody in studio. I shouldn't say in studio, but he's always in studio with me, no matter where he is. The one and only Tim Tebow, my friend, who, by the way, hasn't been much of a friend to me the last couple of weeks. I gotta admit to Tebow. I think you've been a little bit cruel to me, Tebow. I think you've been a little bit cruel.
First of all, Stephen A., we've always been friends, all right? Just because there's been a few things that have maybe rubbed you wrong of, like, I don't know, not picking right on Florida, Alabama, but honestly, it ended up being a good thing because you looked so good last week. The Florida tie, the orange and blue, and now you have 2 Gator ties. Honestly, I think it was just a blessing for you, Stephen A.
I can't even say nothing about that today because he was right about the Gators, and that suit is tight. I had to admit, the brother looking fly. All right, first take. Let's go.
It's a feel-good Friday. I am not just excited because we have Tim Tebow, Stephen A. Smith. I'm Molly Karam Rose. Gentlemen, the game of the year is this Sunday. I am so excited. Let's go.
Let's go.
Tom Brady will return to familiar territory as he leads the Bucs into Gillette Stadium for the first time as a visiting player. His 304 passing touchdowns at Gillette are the most by a quarterback at any venue in NFL history. Staying on that note, he's thrown for more than 41,000 yards at Gillette. To put that in perspective, just 17 other quarterbacks other than Brady himself have eclipsed that total in their entire career. Brady's won 134 games as a starter at Gillette. With a win on Sunday, he'd set the record for most teams beaten as a visitor at 31, leaving Seattle as the only team left to check off that list in its entirety. Here's Tom on going up against Bill after 20 years.
We had a great relationship. I think everything was handled the right way. We handled everything as gracefully as we could. It was an amazing, like I said, time, and it was handled perfectly. I think everyone understood, where we're at, the people involved in the situation.
Oh, Tim, oh, Tim, oh, Tim. Tell me this. Do you believe in Tom Brady?
Oh, I believe in Tom Brady, but I don't necessarily believe Tom Brady. I'm not saying that Tom Brady's lying. I'm just telling you that Tom Brady is trying to play this thing down. I think there is such a passion in Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I think there is such a this competitive drive in this game that is going to be bigger for him than maybe any other regular season game you have ever seen. He's going to play it down. Belichick's going to play it down. But if we're talking about the same person that still holds a grudge from 20-something years ago when he was drafted, if you don't think that he is putting every bit of critical focus and locked in and he is ready to give everything he has in this game, I don't think that you understand Tom Brady. Tom Brady is so locked in on this game. I think this is going to be one of the biggest games in his career from just how much he cares. If you were cut open his heart, his heart's going to be beating faster this week against Belichick. I think it means that much to him.
First of all, I'm stunned. I'm sitting here and I'm just transfixed on Tim Tebow right now. I'm just stunned because I cannot believe that Tim Tebow, my friend, is actually on the record saying he feels somebody is not being that honest. I can't believe Tim Tebow did that. I'm just stunned.
I think he's taking the high road. That's all. He's taking the high road. Sometimes you don't always have to say everything that you're feeling,
I do understand that. I do understand. I have to learn that, Tim Tebow. I have to learn that. I'll admit it. Here's the deal, man. Here's the deal. Let me tell you why I think Tom Brady is being honest about it. Because, number one, it ain't going to stop him from going at him. And number two, what he did was essentially highlight, by him being classy, knowing all the stuff that's out there about Bill Belichick and how a bit truculent and stoic and all of those things he can be. I think Tom Brady is being perfectly honest because guess what? That highlights the discrepancy in quote-unquote class that the two of them have in his eyes. And as a result, he sits up there and he takes this position and he's essentially illuminating and highlighting why he elected to leave in the first place. We all know he could have stayed as long as he wanted to because Mr. Kraft definitely wouldn't have pushed him out the door. But he said, hey, you got to allow this guy. God gives you 20 years, and he gets to a point where he wants to leave. You have to allow him to do that. But I think Tom Brady is being very, very slick here, but in no way not just taking the high road. I think the higher he goes, the worse it makes Bill Belichick look. And I don't think Tom Brady minds that at all. And that's what I think everybody is missing here.
One other thing before you jump back into him, where I think he's actually be even more slick, Stephen A., is not only is he taking the high road, but he's not denying the speculation. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
he didn't say anything was untruthful. He just chose to look past it.
And hey, Tim, as an aside, we both know that his trainer, Alex Guerrero, and his father never, ever, ever would have given those interviews, let alone say what they said, if Tom Brady didn't okay that. We know that.
Of course he gave his blessing. Tim?
Absolutely. Listen, you know how every single game Brady runs out of the tunnel, he runs to the corner of the end zone, he does a little let's go thing, he pumps up the crowd. If you think in this game that those veins aren't going to be bulging a little bit more, he's not going to be a little bit louder, he's not going to be a little bit more intense, I think you're crazy. Brady absolutely wants this game, and yes, he took the high road and he's killing everybody with kindness, but that doesn't mean inside that chip isn't growing and growing and growing. And by the time you get to Sunday night, I think you're going to see a Tom Brady that is so determined, that is so fueled, that has such an edge, that you're going to see a Tom Brady that competes in this game like he does in playoffs and Super Bowls.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, let me ask you this, Stephen A. Do you think New England will keep it close?
I was inclined to say yes because I looked at New England's defense. They're ranked 5 overall, ranked 5 in yards allowed. They're ranked number 2 against the pass. And even though they're suspect against the run, the fact of the matter is Tampa Bay loves to throw the football. Mm-hmm. But the more I think about it, Tim Tebow, the more I think about it, I don't think it's going to be that close. I think, listen, when I think we're thinking about Brady. You know who we're not thinking enough about? We're not thinking enough about 2 people, Tim Tebow. We're not thinking about Rob Gronkowski, who, by the way, retired and showed no interest in coming back until Tom Brady said, come on to Tampa Bay, okay? And we're forgetting about Antonio Brown, who was out last week because of COVID protocols, who's highly motivated to go up against the New England Patriots, who felt messed over by Mr. Kraft. And even if he did it, Tom Brady's his boy. Tom Brady's the one that brought him into the mansion that Derek Jeter, El Capitan, by the way, once owned. Tom Brady's the one that brought him in the home, embraced him in ways that I dare say nobody else in the NFL ever embraced Antonio Brown. If anybody's going to be highly motivated, it's going to be those 2, almost, not quite as much, but almost as equally, as Tom Brady. I think it's going to be lopsided.
Listen, I totally get your points. I just don't believe in him because the one name you keep mentioning is Tom Brady. The name we haven't mentioned yet is Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is still one of the best, if not the best coaches in the NFL. What does Bill Belichick do better than anybody in the history of the NFL? Take away the best things that opposing offenses do with a great defense. And he has a really good defense that I think is going to improve throughout the season. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of different schemes taking away the best players at times. Now, the blessing for Tampa, they have a lot of go-to guys. I mean, you have Antonio Brown back, Rob Gronkowski, but all the other guys that were making plays. So I think that's going to be the chess match in this game is you know, who are they doubling? Who are they trying to get away? Because let me just tell you, Bill Belichick is going to try to take someone out of the game. He's going to say, hey, we're taking the tight ends out of the game. You're going to have to throw it out wide to your receivers. So that's where this chess match comes into play. The difference in this chess match is Tom Brady has a lot more queens than Bill Belichick has to work with, and that's something that's going to be fascinating as this game goes along.
Well, you know what the thing about it, Tim Tebow, I got to get on you about a little something here for a second here, buddy. Let's see. Everybody's always talking about the greatness of Bill Belichick and how you going up against Bill Belichick. Well, Bill Belichick, forget the fact that he's going up against Tom Brady for a second. How about he's going up against a guy that played under him for 19 years? 19 years. Tom Brady's no dummy. Tom Brady is fully capable of comprehending what the hell's going on. I mean, how much can you hide? How many wrinkles can you throw into the equation with a guy that you worked with for 19 years? Tom Brady sat there and got tutored by Bill Belichick. Now, the pupil is not the teacher. I get that. But what I'm saying is, why can't we all surmise that Tom Brady might have Bill Belichick figured out? Because Bill Belichick has never encountered a person that he's going up against that he's coached so much for so long. What about that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's a great point, but if you're bringing that up, then I think you have to throw Josh McDaniels into this as well. The offensive coordinator who drafted me in Denver, he's an incredible offensive mind, but also a lot of Brady's best seasons have been with Josh McDaniels, and Josh is an excellent mind. And I think you're going to see Josh with an incredible game plan for Mac Jones in this game. I think you're going to try to see them hold the ball a lot, control time of possession. And I think when we're talking about this chess match, we got to bring Josh McDaniels into the equation too, because he's one of the best OCs in the game right now.
Okay.
I cannot remember a time being more excited for a regular season game in my life. Stephen A's heart is really going to be distraught during this next game, maybe even more so than this clip. Here's saddened A. Smith.
Steelers are awful. The defense, I'm not going to blame them because T.J. Watt is out. Highsmith was out. I don't know why everybody got a groin injury, but that's a subject for another day. But their offense is awful. It's the music.
No, it's the groin injury.
I actually asked for this music, Ryan. I have never seen the Steelers' offense look this bad.
Okay, here's the good news, Stephen A. One of the groin injuries has healed. T.J. Watt will be back at practice. Ben Steelers, who are looking to right the ship at Lambeau against that bad man Aaron Rodgers. A lot of scrutiny, Tim, aimed at the quarterback, Big Ben Roethlisberger. He's staying confident. But, Tim, do you still believe in Big Ben?
I believe that he's the best option for the Steelers right now, and I don't even think it's close. Like I feel like this is something that we do so much is it's 3 games, right? And we just hype it up like it's the entire season. It's not. It's 3 games. Has it been great for Big Ben? No. But is he your best option? Absolutely. Do they still have a chance to turn around? They get some of these guys back. Big Ben's played a lot of football, and he's still going to be able to play, I think, this year. I think he's still a good quarterback. In big games, in the fourth quarter, I think he'd still be one of the guys I would pick if you say you want a game-winning drive. I still think Big Ben can do that. It's 3 games. They haven't played well, but he's by far your best option, and I still think he can get the job done.
Look, man, first of all, everybody can't be you, okay? Everybody can't defy Father Time and stuff like that, being in your 30s looking like you 19 years old, okay? Some of us look our age. Not me. Not me. But some of us look our age, okay, Tim Tebow? That's just the way that it goes. And when you look at Big Ben Roethlisberger, what is he now? 39 years old? He looks 39, bro. He looks 39. Now, I grant you that he's their best option. Well, that you're really stepping out on the limb there. Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins. I mean, way to go, Tim Tebow. You're really stepping out on the limb there. But that's not just not saying much, because here's the deal. Your offensive line is horrible. Because Najee Harris, you saw Najee Harris at Alabama last year and the year before that. You know how big time he is. They got the worst running attack in football. That ain't his fault. He can't get blocking. And as a result, Ben Roethlisberger got to step back and pass, and they can't pass protect the dude. He's a statue back there, Tim Tebow. He's a statue.
But Stephen A., that has nothing to do with the point. The point is about Ben Roethlisberger, and now you're bringing up the offensive line in the running game. So if that's a bad offensive line and the running game's not working, you're going to hold that against Big Ben? I thought the question was, is Big Ben the guy? Can Big Ben get it done? Right?
He can.
And if so, but then that's
under these conditions,
so fix the offensive line. Right? That's not a Big Ben.
Well, let me say this to you. You got a deal, because Tim Tebow once taught me this. Even though you're younger, the bottom line is you're a brilliant young man, and you once taught me this. You got to deal with the conditions you're presented with. And the conditions that you're presented with is what I highlighted. So when we get back to Big Ben, we're saying under these conditions, this guy is not the idea. I mean, I'm almost to the point where I do want to see Dwayne Haskins, because I just want to see somebody who can move, because he clearly cannot.
That's the thing. No, Dwayne Haskins can't move. Dwayne Haskins is a pocket passer.
Yeah, he's
his
true.
entire career,
Right.
high school, college, NFL. Dwayne Haskins is, that's one of the things when he was at Ohio State. They couldn't run the read option. He's got a super gifted arm, but he's a pocket guy. So I'm sorry, but that ain't the point.
You're absolutely right. He can't move. That was a bad example. Here was a good one. Here's a bad example. You got me there. Here's the point. For me, I think anybody can move compared to Big Ben Roethlisberger right now, number one. And number two, that's why I was an advocate of them going out and getting Cam Newton, because we know he can move.
Now, that's a different option.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a different game. But this is what I just want to say really quickly.
Yeah.
Is it really more about Big Ben or all the injuries on this team?
Well, listen, I think it's about the injuries because of the defense. By the way, Tim, and I've said this for, numerous times this week, I don't understand how 4 different guys got groin injuries. I don't know what the hell's going on in Pittsburgh. That makes no sense to me. 4 different
I'm not
guys.
touching that one.
I just don't understand it. I just don't understand. 4 guys at the same time? What's going on down in Pittsburgh? That's just me. But having said that, throwing that aside, all I'm saying to you is this. No, if their defense was healthier, you'd see more opportunistic plays taking place and what have you, because their defense is built like that. Offensively, they are what we think they are. We're witnessing it before our very eyes. You got a new offensive coordinator in Matt Canada, all right? You got rid of Fichtner, and here you are with this team. You still got no running game, still got a highly suspect, no-name offensive line. But Big Ben Roethlisberger at age 39, he can't move anymore, Tim. He can't move, and he could barely throw it 20 to 30 yards without rubbing his elbow. That's where I'm at with it, Tim.
You're right. Big Ben can't move like he used to, but he still can throw it, and he can throw it farther than 30 yards. And I think the one thing you're going to see more spread, and you're going to see Big Ben in a great quick game. He's going to be getting it out in less than 2 seconds. That's going to be their change. You're going to see that happen this week. He's going to try to get it out over and over and over again because that's going to tire a defensive line, and you're going to get it to your playmakers. I think that'll be a big change Pittsburgh makes, and I think Big Ben will thrive doing that.
I hope he's right. I don't believe he is, but
at least when your team loses, it's to Aaron Rodgers.
Well, you could say that, but you know what? You lose to everybody.
Tag.
You lose to everybody.
Excuse me, that was a tag
You know what I'm
to
saying?
then go to break. That
Giants lose to everybody, Tim Tebow.
That's okay, and I'm still loyal, and I will stay loyal because I'm not bandwagon.
UConn.
Still the con.
I'm loyal.
Yeah, blue. Blue's my color. You see the two? Giants, UConn, whatever it is. I need the gator tie, though, for this outfit. Tim's two-time coach, Urban Meyer, seemed to absolutely...
Begins October 1st.
All right, after a 14-0 first half that saw Trevor Lawrence looking like a solid NFL quarterback, and the Jacksonville Jaguars appeared to be on the verge of their first win of the season, but Joe Burrow wasn't having it. The Cincinnati Bengals responded 2 unanswered touchdowns in the third quarter to tie the game. Then they went on to score on every second half possession en route to a 24-21 victory. Here's Urban Meyer.
It was devastating, heartbreaking. You know, these guys... Usually I'm not wrong about stuff like that, I just see a good team in there. I see good guys, and I see good hearts. I see guys at work. And I told them I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong about that stuff. And this team's going to win some games. We're getting better each week. Just sickening that you didn't win that thing. But like I told you, I'm not wrong about that. I'm not wrong about those guys in that room. And that's a heartbroken locker room, so we got to get them back. There are good people in that locker room.
You know, Tim, I don't always create the questions. I just ask them. Is Urban Meyer long for the NFL?
No, I don't think Urban Meyer's wrong for the NFL. I think Urban's a great coach. I think he's going to continue
long for the NFL.
Long.
Like, meaning, well, yeah, not wrong, long. Like, do you think he'll stay for a while?
Yeah, I think he's going to be in the NFL for a little while. I think he really has a passion and a heart to be able to turn the culture and the trajectory of the Jacksonville Jaguars program. I think he really feels an obligation to Shad Khan, the owner. I feel like he has a passion for it, for Jacksonville, for the fans, for this team. When he gets into something, he goes all the way, and he's very passionate. And that can be an awesome strength, but it can also be a weakness. You see, one of the best things that coach brings to the table is his passion. He is willing to suffer. He is willing to not sleep. He is willing to grind. He is willing to push people. But that also, in the NFL, you kind of got to taper that back a little bit. It is a long season. You're going to suffer some losses. You're going to suffer some heartbreaks. Every team is really good, and I think coach is going to have to adapt a little bit, because if he doesn't, I think it will affect his health, and I think it will affect his energy and his stamina. So, you know, my encouragement to him is, you know, still bring that passion, still bring that focus, still bring that intensity, but you have to be able to compartmentalize it a little bit, because if not, it will wear you down, it will wear you out. And I've gone through this many times with coach, and, you know, multiple times throughout his career, his health has taken a turn for the worse because he cares so much and it weighs so much on him. And so I think personally for him, I think he's got to really balance it. But then also, it is a really, really tough league. And you got to know going in, there's going to be some games where you think you're going to win and you just don't, because that other team is really good as well. And so I think for him, personally, he's got to handle it. But then professionally, he will adapt because he's a great coach and he's always done that. He's done that from Notre Dame, Bowling Green, Utah, Florida, Ohio State. He's continued to adapt. And so I think those are two things that he really has to focus on.
Tim, you know, I'm not joking around here when I say this, and I'm going to say this with all seriousness because I hear where you're coming from. But to me, everything you just said is why exactly I do not believe Urban Meyer is long for the NFL. And I want to state this, and I know that Urban Meyer has found himself in some tricky situations over the years. I have always been an incredible fan of Urban Meyer. I think he is a sensational coach. And I think his record speaks for itself. You have a football team. You want Urban Meyer as your coach. Y'all put me up on the screen, split screen because I want to see Tim Tebow when I'm saying all of this. That's how special I think he is. But I want you to scale it back a little bit, Tim Tebow, and reflect on last night. Just hear me out here. They lost a close game. The last 3 weeks, they have played very, very competitive football. They struggled the first week of the season against Houston, but against Denver, Arizona, and Cincinnati, all good teams, potentially all playoff teams.
Yep.
They've looked pretty competitive. I totally agree with Trevor Lawrence. DJ Chalk, I'm looking at some of these guys in their running game. Right here, James Robinson, Carlos Hyde. Remember him when he was with 49ers. These brothers are running the football effectively, averaging 5 yards a carry or more. You know, you see some of the pieces there. And you come into the season, you've lost 19 straight. You lost 15 straight coming into the season. What the hell do you expect? So we all understand this except Urban Meyer. That's the great part about him, Tim, that he's going to work overtime and he's going to put it in. And he cares so much and you see it. But covering the NBA over the years the way that I've had, there's a couple of coaches that weren't long for the game because it hurt so much to lose. It took so much out of them. I think that was one of the things. Listen, remember when the Miami Heat won the title in 2006 when D. Wade led the way? That should have been Stan Van Gundy's team. But Stan Van Gundy had got let go, and Pat Riley had came in. And one of the reasons that Stan Van Gundy lost the job, it wasn't because of his basketball acumen, his know-how, what to do. It was so pressurized. He wore it on his sleeve. I mean, it was like, it was heart-wrenching when he lost. Yep. And that's, to a lesser degree, slightly maybe, that's Urban Meyer, man. And I watched him last night, and I was like this, Coach, it's game 4 of a season. Nobody's expecting you to win anyway. It's about getting better and better and better. Somebody like Larry Brown that I coached, that I covered in the NBA for years, Tim, Larry Brown's the kind of guy that could coach forever because he was all about the process and progress. He would have celebrated last night's performance. He wouldn't have been depressed and slamming on the podium and acting like he was just ready to drop because he lost a regular season game when you see that kind of progress. Yeah. That's Urban Meyer, man. It is. I don't know, Tim. I don't know.
It is Urban. And when you say you know, that I'm heartbroken, that is real. That's transparent. That's absolutely the way he feels. You know, I'm sure, you know, flying back, driving to his house, seeing his family, Miss Shelley, I'm sure he was devastated. You know, and that he takes it that personal. And I totally agree with you, Stephen A. The one thing I would remind you of, though, is when you say that he might not last. He might not be around for a while. The other quality that he has is a crazy determination. Like, he has a crazy determination. So while it might be hard, I think he's going to be very determined. I think he expected to win every single one of those games. I really expected, I believe he expected to be 3-1 right now or 4-0. And so he is taking that hard. But I also think that this dude is super resolute, and he is determined, and I think he will continue to tweak and mold and change and get new guys in there and adapt and do whatever it takes because he is so determined. I don't think he would quit without finding a way to turn the tide a little bit.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Yeah, I mean, he also took over a tough situation, even though they did get Trevor Lawrence, who now is 31-2 in his collegiate and NFL career. How about that record?
Yeah.
And also, I do want to mention one other loss. DJ Chark, they could be without him for the rest of the season with that ankle, so that's a huge blow as well that they had to endure.
They lost him.
All right, gentlemen,
about that.
let's keep it rolling. Andy Reid, Stephen A. returning to the city of brotherly love, your old stomping ground. Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City hoping to turn things around as well after a disappointing start to the season by their standards. The Chiefs have dropped consecutive games and find themselves in the basement of the NFC West through this season's first 3 weeks. It seems like it was just a matter of time for KC, which has played 11 one-score games over their last 14 contests dating back to last season. Tim, I want to start with you here. How concerned are you when it comes to the Chiefs?
I'm not concerned at all. They lost to two really good teams, two teams that are probably playoff teams, two of the best teams in the league. By the way, this happens. I think the Chiefs will continue to learn, grow, adapt. There's a lot of new players on the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will be absolutely just fine. By the way, in some of those losses, most of the plays went against them. What happens when that goes forward? Like the game they probably should have lost was against the Browns. They had a better chance than the other two, and so I think the Chiefs are just fine. They have way too much talent. You have Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, so many great players. I think they're going to bounce back and be totally fine.
Tim, have you been watching this defense? See, I know we in love with Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, my brother from another mother. I get all of that, okay? Let me tell you something. This defense is not good. They're second to last against the pass. They're second to last in points allowed. They're third worst in yards allowed. They can't really defend the run. The pass either. Don't get me started with their running defense. You can run all over them. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I look into the rest of the conference. I'm looking at the Chargers. They coming. I look at the Raiders. They coming, okay? We look at the Ravens. They're relevant. The Browns are relevant. I think if the Browns played them again right now, they might beat them. You look at Buffalo. They're there as well. I'm just looking at it right now, and I know that Patrick Mahomes is great, and he could come and save the day. But when I measure the Chiefs, Tim, I'm thinking Super Bowl, and I'm thinking what happened to them in the Super Bowl. And what happened to them in the Super Bowl has been happening to them the first 3 games of the season.
So do you think that all those teams you named are better than the Chiefs right now?
I think right now a lot of their defenses are.
Yeah, that's defenses. That's not the team. But you also, let me ask you a question. When was the Chiefs' defense dominant?
They were never dominant, but damn, this is bad, Tim. This is a little worse than what we've seen now. Come on now.
It's also 3 weeks, right? There's a lot of things that are going to change. When's the last time that what happened after week 3 was exactly what's going to happen after week 17? It's just not the case. Things are going to change. This defense is going to grow, and they're going to get better like they have every year. But they've never been a great defense. They've been opportunistic at the right time, at the right place, right? You've never seen when Patrick Mahomes has been there a defense where you've been like, wow, that's a stout defense. What they've been is at the right time on the fourth quarter, stopping teams from getting in the end zone, holding them to field goals, getting turnovers at the right time. That's who this team is, right? And to give Patrick enough chances to be able to get their shots because their offense has too much firepower. So this team is designed a little bit different than most other teams.
I also think it's a little bit of comfort because guess what? If I got Patrick Mahomes with Kelce and Hill and the crew, guess what? I don't have to prioritize defense as much as some other teams. Like, for example, I don't have to be the Chicago Bears. You know what? I'm not going to have to worry about being on the field too much to come to save the day because my offense can't do a damn thing. Or the Steelers, for that matter, the way their offense is looking right now. I know we're going to score some points.
How does it always go back to the Steelers?
Because I love my Steelers, Tim. That's why, and it hurts right
You know
now.
what I'm starting to learn about Tim Tebow as I'm getting to know him better each Friday? Why are you giving me that side eye?
What, Molly? What are you going to say?
Tim doesn't panic. Tim's calm. I think that's his superpower.
Oh, really?
He doesn't panic.
Oh, really? That's
I never,
what we're doing now?
see him
That's what
being
we're
like,
doing now?
yeah, getting nervous, riled up, overly emotional, like some people. Stephen A., speaking of which, Philly, where you spend a lot of time, you probably have a lot of great memories there. Do you believe in Jalen Hurts?
No.
Okay, do you want to expound on that?
I'm not going to say that I won't. To take words from Tim Tebow. I mean, since Tim Tebow can say, what looks at the way it looks in week 3 might look the way it totally different in week 17. I still want to Tim Tebow's lines, okay?
I don't know that I've ever talked like that, but I get it. I like it.
It may be that way, okay? Here's my issue. And I said this with Jalen Hurts when he was at Alabama, even when he had a big-time season at Oklahoma. I still said it then, And I said it when he came into the NFL.
Okay.
I have no questions about him as an athlete. I have no question about his heart. I have no question about his moxie or anything like that. He belongs in the NFL. I'm happy for Jalen Hurts. And he seems to be a really, really good guy, man, and a leader. My issue with Jalen Hurts is his accuracy passing the football. And you have to be able to throw with accuracy to succeed at the quarterback position in the NFL. And to me, that's the question mark. Have I not thrown out that question about Lamar Jackson? Did I not throw out that question about Cam Newton? Yeah. Yes, I did. Why would I not throw out that question at Jalen Hurts? That's my issue, and it's always been my issue.
Tim, I want to hear from you on this.
Listen, I agree with you, Stephen A. I think Jalen is a great young man. I think he's a hard worker. I think he's a good guy in the locker room. I think people respect him. I think people look up to him. I think at times Jalen can be very hot. Like week 1, he played very well. To me, it's not as much about accuracy as it is about Jalen in the pocket. You got to fire it. In the NFL, there are tight windows, and you got to let it rip. Sometimes bad things might happen, but you got to be willing to fire it. And a tendency he's had even from his freshman year at Alabama, if it's close, he's been different than Tua and Bryce Young now and all these other Alabama quarterbacks, Mac Jones. He's been that guy to just hold it a little bit. I think that's where he gets into trouble because he trusts his athletic ability a little bit more than he does staying in the pocket and letting it rip. I think if Jalen were to say, hey, you know what? If I throw a pick, I throw a pick. But when I see it, when I know the coverage, when I got a guy, I got to let it rip. I got to throw with anticipation, and I got to throw with accuracy. But I don't think it's as much on accuracy as it is, hey, guess what? You got to be able to throw in these tight windows and let the ball rip, and that's something he's never necessarily done a lot. He trusts his athletic ability more, even when he went to Oklahoma, and that's how I would be coaching him and encouraging him. Hey, when you see it, fire it, let it rip.
All right, we'll see what happens in Philly this weekend. Still to come here on First Take, I can already hear Stephen A. laughing at this question. But should Alabama finally be on upset alert? That juicy debate up next. Plus, Paul Feinbaum has an explosive take on Clemson and Dabo Swinney. Talking Tigers next. And I promise you'll want to hear what Tim's got to say. Keep it locked. In New York City. Happy Friday, everybody. Let's check in on this weekend's college slate where someone will have to give in this top 10 matchup as the Razorbacks' 8th-ranked rushing offense will go head-on with the Bulldogs' 6th-ranked rushing defense. Meanwhile, over their big win in Wisconsin last weekend, the Fighting Irish will look to fend off another ranked opponent in Cincinnati. It'll be just the second meeting between the two schools and first since 1900. And Alabama will host number 12 Ole Miss, the 3rd-ranked opponent. The Crimson Tide has played through the season's first 5 weeks. Good news for Bama, the Rebels are 0-13 against top-ranked teams in program history. Stephen A., Mr. Roll Tide, Mr. Alabama, Mr. I gave the best speech ever, and that's why they're so good.
I never said that.
Okay,
I never said that. Okay.
You thought it.
Paul Feinbaum said that. My buddy Paul Feinbaum said that, not me.
You
but
didn't
go ahead.
say. All right.
Go ahead.
Is Alabama on upset alert?
No, absolutely not. Now let me say this, okay? First things first. It's a new day at Ole Miss because Lane Kiffin is there. I believe in that man. I think he's a hell of a coach. And obviously, last year, Tim Tebow got me again because he told me that Ole Miss game against Alabama was going to be tough. I didn't forget. They dropped 48 on Alabama, okay?
Seems to be a pattern happening.
But Alabama dropped 63. So let's just be clear about that. Having said that, we talking about Alabama. And let me tell you something, Tim. Let me tell you something right now, my man. Let me tell you something. Them damn Florida Gators surprised me, okay? I think they surprised Alabama. Alabama ain't going to find themselves in that situation again. They're going to get it together. They destroyed Southern Mississippi. That's a different level. I understand that. Ole Miss is coming in undefeated 3-0. Matt Corral's brother can play now. He's something special. Hasn't thrown an interception yet this season after throwing 14 interceptions last season. But it don't matter. It don't matter because they coming to the Tide, baby. They coming on road. They going on the road. They coming to the home turf for Alabama. Okay. Bryce Young handling his business, 15 touchdowns, just 1 interception, complete 72% of his passes. You see Jameson Williams and the rest of these boys, they're doing their thing. And listen, the fact that Florida almost beat them a couple of weeks ago, I think that Nick Saban has appropriately made life a living hell for them over the last couple of weeks. And I think Ole Miss will feel the wrath of the Tide, baby. And this is all I got to say to close out this discussion, Tim. Roll Tide! Alabama!
Stephen A.
It's not gonna be close this time.
Please rest your throat
Stephen
for a little bit.
When you woke up this morning, did you walk into your closet and say, you know what? I'm looking at all these ties, and none of them are quite as beautiful as the tie I wore last Friday. So you know what? I'm just not going to wear a tie because nothing could possibly match up to how great I looked last week. You know what? That was probably your thought process. But as we talk about Alabama, are they one of the best teams? There's no doubt about it. Alabama's a great team. But where you underestimate is you get so caught up in T-Town and Alabama and Saban that you forget other places have really good players. And yeah, you mentioned him, but you didn't really put a lot of respect on his name, and that's Matt Corral. This dude is unbelievable. And hey, let me throw out something to you. The last 3 Heisman Trophy winners in the SEC, Cam Newton, Johnny Manziel, Joe Burrow. Every single one of them went on the road to beat Alabama. That kind of put that little notch in their Heisman belt. So, could Matt Corral do the same?
No.
I think right now he's the best player in college football. So far, he's had the best season, and it's not the one-dimensional. He does it with his arm. He does it with his leg. He does it with his scheme. He does it getting in and out of plays. And yes, I want to give Jeff Levy and Lane Kiffin a lot of credit. They do an unbelievable job. I think it's the best offense in the country right now. But Matt Corral runs it to perfection. And by the way, when we're talking about next level, I think this kid has a really, really bright future at next level. I think you have a chance to be one of the top picks next year. He does everything well. And what do you need to be able to knock off Alabama? Unbelievable quarterback play. Not just in the pocket, but athletically to be able to do all of it.
Hold on.
What are we holding on?
All those flowers you just gave out to him, and you said he got a chance to be a high pick in the NFL next year. A chance. The way you talking about him, we should be saying he's going to be the number 1 overall pick or something. The way you talking about him.
I think he'll be a first-round pick.
I ain't talking about first round. I said number 1 overall. The way you're talking about him, he's the best player in college football. Well, we gonna find out, ain't we? We gonna find out this weekend. I'm telling you that right now. And I don't mind Alabama being the litmus test. Let them come. Let them come to the Tide, okay? Let them come to Tuscaloosa. Let them find out what it's all about, okay? I'm just telling you right now. Listen, you can't be struggling against Florida and then go up against Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin and then struggle again. That's not Alabama football. That's not Alabama football, okay? That's all I'm saying.
All right. Let's move
I don't
on.
even know how to respond to that.
No, don't. The bandwagon's so crowded, don't. Alabama's on an 18-game win streak. Clemson, though, is off to a shaky 2-2 start. Uncharacteristic of my guy, Dabo Swinney. Losing to both Georgia and NC State tomorrow. They face BC. Is the mouth of the South, Paul Feinbaum, losing faith in the Tigers program?
Dabo's dynasty is done. I do not like anything I see there. They've lost one coach a couple of years ago to USF. I think that was a big loss. This is a staff that has always been together, but I think it's getting stale. Yes, recruiting is still good, but will it be elite after what we just got through watching? It just doesn't look like Clemson is part of the cool kids anymore, and I think that they're going to pay for it in recruiting, and they play in a terrible league, which will hurt them even more.
Paul, not mincing words, shots fired. Clemson not even part of the cool kids anymore. A lot is happening. Tim, where are you on this? Is the Clemson dynasty over?
Listen, I love Paul. I've had the chance to do SEC Nation with him for the last 8 years.
We do too.
But, I mean, what are we talking about? Like, for real. Come on. Like, it's 2 losses. You lost to Georgia, you lost to NC State. 2 good football teams. But to say, like, they're not part of the cool kids anymore, go ask all the 5-star recruits, all right? Let's just be honest. You know, go look all the people that are falling in love with Clemson. Go look at how they're raising money right now. Go look how they're building a program, how every other school is going to Clemson to look at how they do their marketing, to look at how they do their facilities, all of this. Because they're getting all these recruits because everybody's falling in love with Dabo, falling in love with the program. And yes, they lost 2 games, but to say it's done, to me, it's just not watching. It's not evaluating. It's not looking at the program. It's looking at 2 games. It's looking at the result of 2 games. But that's not the entire process. Listen, Dabo is still one of the best coaches in college football. He's had a crazy amount of success for the last decade. And to say they're done because they lose 2 games, I think it is absolutely absurd.
Tim, Tebow, we're supposed to be, and put me up on the screen, please. We see Clemson's record. We don't need to see it again. Let me say this. We're supposed to disagree. We can't disagree here. I'm not counting Dabo Swinney out, and that's where my focus lies right now. Alabama wasn't the only place I went to. I went to Clemson. That is a sensational campus. They've got sensational facilities, and damn it, they've got a sensational head coach. The real problem is their quarterback. Let's just call it what it is. And Tim, I don't know if I never tried to pronounce his name. Let me try to pronounce it now. Uyunglele? Is that how you pronounce it?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's not bad.
Uyunglele. Uyunglele. Okay, there I go. Okay, I pulled it off. Okay, let me tell you something right now. The only reason he stands out at this particular moment in time is because of how you pronounce his last name. It damn sure ain't his game that's doing it for him. He is a precipitous drop-off, obviously, from Trevor Lawrence, from Deshaun Watson, from Boyd. I mean, the list goes on and on. Listen, when you look at the recent history of quarterbacks at Clemson University, this brother's not measuring up. And it's quite surprising because last year when he played in the games that Trevor Lawrence was out, he looked pretty good. I don't know what happened to him this offseason, but he hasn't looked good at all. Listen, they lost to Georgia 10-3. Okay? Another game they gave up, I forgot who was against, they gave up 8 points. Now, they gave up 27 to North Carolina State the other day, and I get all of that, and I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is, don't tell me that Dabo can't coach. Don't tell me about coaches that he lost, because you got a whole bunch of coaches that would love to come and coach under Dabo at that university, which is the great Clemson University. This is Dabo Swinney. We are talking about Paul Feinbaum. No, I'm rolling with Tim Tebow on this. I'm not counting Clemson out by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that they're going to have to make a change at the quarterback spot. They're going to have to find a playmaker at that position, somebody that steps up and lives up to a legacy that, as far as I'm concerned, Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence both took to another level. It's got to be somebody like that. But to me, that's all it is. If they had somebody like that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And we all know Dabo and Clemson are capable of finding somebody like that. They just don't have that right now.
Stephen A., I see you dropping SAT vocab words. Precipitous. Okay. Hey, listen, I was homeschooled, so during commercial break, explain it to me, all right?
Not nutritious. I mean, Dan Orlovsky used the word nutritious. He used the word nutritious.
Dan's the best.
You know, he used that word.
And he owned it.
And he owned it.
And he made it seem like it worked.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I love Dan.
At least Dan's such a nice guy, so you can't even give him a hard time.
Not as nice as you, though.
He's
Not
the
as nice
best.
as you. My friend.
Oh,
my friend.
God.
My friend.
Tim, have fun this weekend. We'll see you next Friday. Always looking forward to it.
Appreciate you guys.
Be
Good
safe.
to see you.
All right,
Appreciate the
we'll
green
talk
jacket
soon.
that looks black. Appreciate the green jacket that looks black on television, by the way.
Thank you, Stephen A.
Tim, you look clean. Your wife dressed you well. All right, still
Thank
to
you,
come,
Molly.
Joel Embiid's unreal brand new soundbite on Ben Simmons. Shots fired. You be the judge. Plus Shaq. Yeah, that's Shaq unloading on Kyrie Irving. Perk breaks it all down with Mr. Naismith. That would be Stephen. Oh, we've been having fun. I hope you are too. Much more ahead on First Take, including 2 must-have NBA stories. Perk joins the show to break down fresh sound from Shaq, who called out Kyrie Irving. And don't miss what Joel Embiid said about Ben Simmons yesterday. That sounded like a direct shot. And much more NFL still ahead on this jam-packed Friday edition of First Take.
I know, which way the wind blows. I know that home tunnel. I know what the fans are going to sound like. I'm not going to be thinking about 20 years of history.
And the Patriots are Super Bowl champions! The dynasty not done yet.
We've played it other times, without Tom.
When you get yourself in a situation like this, you got to take advantage of it.
Bucks win the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, you are the man. You are the GOAT.
I'm not going to necessarily reminisce. I'll have plenty of opportunities to reminisce about my football career.
If they know anything about me, they're going to know that I'm going out there to try to win the football game.
We are closing in on 48 hours to Brady versus Belichick. I cannot wait. Ryan Clark
What's up,
is
man?
gracing your screen. What's going on, Ryan?
Yeah,
What up,
you You home chilling in the mansion and all of that stuff. You came on here looking mean. You all right? You all right? You cool?
I'm cool, man.
All right, man. All right. Don't be looking mean and all that stuff.
Some of us have been working since very early this morning. You know,
Really?
Not all of us get to roll in from our palatial pad in New Jersey or whatever it is with our 17 TVs in the basement and our servants and everything and get to roll in, at 10 o'clock and start to work.
There's no servants. There's no servants. But I love how he says that this is a dude that has 6 months of the year off. But okay, we'll leave it alone.
I did like the servants. It built the drama. All right, another game. Let me ask you this, Ryan. I'll start with you. Is it just another game for Brady or Belichick, or does it mean so much more?
No, this is just another game. That's all it is. It's just a game that they understand they have to win. And here's why this game is important. This game is important because the two ultimate winners in NFL football, right? We're talking about the greatest quarterback to ever play this game. We're talking about the greatest head coach to ever coach this game are both coming off of losses last week. That's why this game is important. That's also why this game is a tough game for the New England Patriots. You don't want to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the defending champs, after they lose a game, a team that's been sleepwalking. But you know what? There's going to be the people on the outside, the Stephen A's of the world, and all the people that want to build up all the drama on the outside. Tom Brady's going back to New England. These two dudes have always been about winning football games. The things that we've loved about both of these humans is the fact that they can compartmentalize, that they can focus on the 3 hours that you are on the grass, whatever week it is, no matter what else is happening, no matter if we're deflating footballs, no matter if we're taping the other team's practices. None of those things ever matter to the New England Patriots. None of those things ever mattered to Tom Brady. So now all of a sudden, because these dudes are separate and they see each other again, we're going to say that this game means more because of that. Stop it, Stephen A. You know it and I know it. This game is about winning this football game and then moving on to next week.
That is a damn lie. And it's amazing to me that it's coming out of your mouth of all people. As competitive as you are, as much as you retain memory of so many things, for you with a straight face, with that one ear. I don't know why you don't have two earpieces. I don't know why. I don't know why it's just the one. I mean, there's two to that. I know what you're wearing, but I know the beats and all. I don't understand why you're doing that, but that's all right. For you of all people to sit up there and to act like this is just a figment of our imagination, we'll hype it up, and all they care about are those 60 minutes, and it's just another game. Hold on. Hold on.
That's it.
No one is trying to say that winning is not the priority. No one is trying to say that either is not going to go all out and win. What we're saying is that it ain't just another game to them. It matters to them not just from the standpoint of winning, but also because of the personal history that the two of them have with one another. What I'm saying to you is you ain't going to lose any sleep in the event that you lose, because you know you lose. But let me tell you something right now. When you got that kind of history, particularly in the manner in which it ended, and with all the stuff, just oozing out of Foxborough and beyond about what transpired, the previous 19 years before Tom Brady departed from Foxborough. I'm sorry. Don't sit up here and act like it's just a media creation that this game is going to matter a little bit more. You know better. You know better.
RC, I usually rock with you, but come on. Stephen A. is so right here. Now, you just stop it. If you were going to go, no, let me finish. You're going to go somewhere and you're going to run into your ex that broke your heart. You're going to tell me that you're not going to step it up a little bit with the wardrobe, maybe do some extra push-ups before you run into her. You absolutely are, and stop lying to me.
Hey, Molly, see, that's what's wrong with the world now, right? People think in relationships, you know what I'm saying, that we got to worry about what we are together. No, I want to be whole individually. So I'm going to hit the weights. I'm going to work out. I'm going to dress fly because I do that for me. But you know what, Molly, it's okay. You're the host of the show. I can expect that from you. But Stephen A., you know why you're like this? You know why you're into the drama? You said it on Monday. You have been a fan of the drama of General Hospital as as long as you've been a fan of football. What you say, 40 years? So I would think a guy who plays a dude named Brick on a soap opera would be all into the drama, would care more about the relationship, would want to talk about the fact that in 2000, Tom Brady was drafted by the New England Patriots in the 6th round. And in the 6th round, he came from nothing to something in 2001. And as time went on, there were the Jimmy G's, there were the Matt Castles, there were the Jacoby Brissetts, but none of them could replace Tom Brady in Bill Belichick's heart until Tom left for Bruce Arians. See, that's what you want to hear. But this is, usually when I come on the show, you say, you know what? I'm going to defer to RC for the football knowledge. And as the football player, you want to smash everybody's face every week anyway. You ain't going to lose sleep over this win. You also ain't gonna throw a party over a week 4 win. But when you into the drama, when you're into the soap opera, when Victor Newman is one of your friends, you all worried about that stuff. Yeah. That's why you invite the playmaker on, and you invite Tim Tebow on, and then you have Dan Orlowski doing touch screens of your presentations because you like the drama. But when it comes down to the football, it's about wins and losses, and in week 4, it's only a week 4 win or loss. Thank you for the music, people.
You know what? It's really nice, and the fact that they got all of this up, I know you told them you was gonna say that. That's okay. That's okay. I heard that little soliloquy. Could y'all turn that damn music off now? I'm talking. Okay, turn it off. Okay. Here's the deal, Ryan Clark. So it's interesting that you bring all of that up, and it's just another game, and we just gonna focus on another game. So when you were playing your NFL career, right? And you left, when you left the New York Giants and you went to Washington, it meant nothing for you to go against the Giants. Yeah. When you left to Washington and you went to Pittsburgh, it meant nothing for you to go to the Red
Sox. It means something.
So what I'm trying to say to you is there's a little something extra. I'm not trying to, we're not compromising the game. We know that you're going to give what you give. And I understand that. But what I'm trying to say is, how do you feel afterwards when they raise your hand instead of Bill Belichick? Oh, it's just another opponent. That ain't Bill Belichick.
Stephen A., can I ask you a question? Can I put my journalistic hat on and ask you a question?
And Robert Kraft, that's just another game. So it got nothing to do with it.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
I'm going to ask you a question. Stephen A., do you believe that Tom Brady is the ultimate competitor?
Yes.
Right? And so you would say that if Tom Brady played harder in certain weeks or worked harder in certain weeks because he was playing certain people, that would mean you would have to believe that there are weeks that Tom Brady slacks.
You see, you listening, but you're not hearing, okay? I never said that he's going to do something.
I'm asking the question.
I never said he's going to do something extra. I said what he'll feel about it. In other words, if he loses this game, it won't be just another loss. He lost to that man. If Gronk loses, he lost to that man, but especially in the case of Tom Brady. How did he depart? So, Ryan, I'm going to put Ryan, because we all know Ryan. We all know Ryan. We love RC. You know what I'm saying? Except DC, because DC tried to beat him up on the podcast together.
RC, DC. Yeah,
all right. So this, and I give Ryan Clark credit because he is telling the truth because he works out religiously. Yeah. It ain't just to impress somebody.
To be whole. Listen, I'm glad you're whole.
But he also lied to you, Molly, because he can act like he just dresses for himself and works out for himself. I met the wife. Who's pretty gorgeous, by the way. I met the wife, all right? She's right there with him, so he can front all he want to, but he trying to impress her. So he lying. That's lie number 2 right there. Here's the last one right here. Here's the last one right here, okay? When you sit up there, if Ryan Clark sat up there and played for a team and was winning Super Bowls, and they were like, yo, man, we think your time is up.
Yeah,
you're going to go out there and show what you show. But when you get to face them directly, when you talk about retribution, you're going to take that into consideration. And you have over there isn't a person this side of Louisiana.
Tom ain't want to be there no more, Stephen A.
What?
Tom didn't want to be there. Tom wanted to leave. Tom wanted Jason Light. Tom wanted Bruce Arians.
He wanted
if anybody could feel hurt, it's Bill Belichick. Tom wanted to be out.
He wanted it, both of them. I'm talking both of them. I ain't saying just Tom. I'm talking for both of them. But Tom Brady wanted to leave after Bill Belichick was who he was.
All right.
It preceded that. His departure.
This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. We had that.
Full of drama.
Stephen A.
What? You're so full of drama.
Why is Brick a little flyer than Steven, though?
I don't know.
That's true statement.
Hold on. Listen.
Right?
Listen. Let me be very clear. Let me be very clear.
They do write you better than you are.
Stephen A. don't give a damn that Brick is flyer. He don't mind at all. He don't mind at all. Matter of fact, Ron, they talking about Britt getting the love interest, man. I mean, they talk about it. I'm just saying they talk about it.
Oh my God!
I'm a busy man. I'm a busy man. I'm a busy man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a busy man. I mean, I got too much stuff on my plate to have time for love like that, you know? But I'm just saying.
His head is so big, it's no longer going to fit in this 3-box.
Right. I'm just saying.
It came out. Y'all need
We've
a bigger
been teasing
studio.
it all show, and I promise you don't want to miss Shaq's shockingly
nice shirt too.
blunt take on what the Nets should do with Kyrie Irving. You'll hear from Shaq. Big Perk joining us for that. And talk about dynamic duos. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. Same division, same goals. Which is the better offense? We get into that in just a bit. It's first.
It is, in fact, Dak time. Pressure, deep left, got Lamb. Prescott's first touchdown since last October. Back goes Prescott. Deep ball down the right side. He's got Cooper. Snap for Prescott, looking, throwing left slant. Oh, to the 45 of the Chargers. Wants a deep shot, middle of the field. He's got it.
4th and 2. That was Dak Prescott doing his thing.
Keeping the ball in your best player's hands, and that's Dak Prescott.
Just thankful for everything that I've been through, just to be back out here doing what I love at the greatest place to play football.
Quite a night for Prescott.
Time for quick digs. Vamos. Stephen A., your Cowboys take on the undefeated Panthers, who will be without Christian McCaffrey because of injury. Don't forget Michael Irvin on the show this Monday. What will we be saying about Dallas on Monday morning?
That they were lucky that the Carolina Panthers didn't have Christian McCaffrey. That's how the Dallas Cowboys going to win this game. That's what we'll be saying.
Hater. Ryan, the Bears still haven't named a starter for Sunday. Of course they haven't. When they take on the winless Lions, would you be shocked if Detroit won?
Hell no. Matt Nagy's still going to be the coach? If Matt Nagy's going to be the coach, I'm going to be shocked if the Chicago Bears win. This is a guy who had 149 days to have Justin Fields set up for success, and you do that? I have no trust in him, no trust in his leadership, and at least Dan Campbell has the Detroit Lions fighting.
Absolutely. We got a big NFC West matchup. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks taking on Jimmy G's Niners. Stephen A., who you got?
This is a tough one, but I'm going to roll with the 49ers because they lost to Green Bay last week. I don't know if I can see this team, which is a good team, to lose 2 home games in a row.
Yeah.
Particularly, I know Seattle's getting desperate. A 1-3 start would be very detrimental to them, but I'm just of the mindset right now. I don't see San Francisco losing, the 49ers losing 2 home games in a row. I'm going to pick them to win this game. It's going to be a nail biter, but I'm going to pick them to win this game.
All right, now to another NFC West team, the Cardinals. They play this weekend in a battle of undefeateds when they take on the Rams. Both teams can score. They have great defenses, but Stephen A., who has the more dangerous offense?
I think it's the Arizona Cardinals. I think because of Kyler Murray's ability to run with the football, because he's got D Hop and those boys as wideouts, Adrian Green and everybody. I'm like, I can't underestimate them. They run the football effectively enough. They can pass the football, and Kyler Murray is electrifying. I think if it were not for Lamar Jackson, we'd be even more in awe of what we're seeing from Kyler Murray at this point. I just think that he's gaining confidence more and more. Obviously, he knows he's a playmaker and he can make some things happen with his legs, and that makes him an incredibly formidable threat. And that's not Matthew Stafford. Now, Matthew Stafford can fling that football with anybody. But right now, the way Arizona is looking, I would say they're the more explosive offense.
This is going to be a great game. RC, where are you on this?
I'm with the Rams, but see, that's what happened though. Like when Stephen A., like when you get a contract like Stephen A. got, and they give you 16 different shows, you start going for the glitz and the glamour. See, he forget what he was when he was a beat writer, right? When he was a journalist pounding the pavement, when he was out there doing the real work. See, now he got the cameras flashing everywhere, paparazzi, all that stuff. He got security and all that. When you watch the Los Angeles Rams, you're watching what offensive football is supposed to be like. The reason Sean McVay is running into the tunnel right before half, after they missed the field goal for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is because he know he got one. He know that he got a guy in Matthew Stafford that can do whatever he wants with the football. And don't underestimate his athletic ability. You're looking at Kyler Murray because he can run around and he looks like Junior from Problem Child and his little legs are moving all fast. You're like, oh, he's doing things that we've never seen before. Yeah, it's fast. It's quick. He can create. But it's still Cliff Kingsbury. This is what the Arizona Cardinals looked like the first 9 games of last year when they were 6-3. But when you watch Robert Woods, now Deshaun Jackson getting involved, Higbee, and no talk about Cooper Kupp. Hey, do you know who Sidney Dean and Billy Hoyle was, guys? Sidney Dean and Billy Hoyle was they were the greatest 2-on-2 movie combination ever. Billy Hoyle was played by Woody Harrelson. That's what I call Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is Billy Hall because people walk out there and they think they finna play a white guy that can't do nothing. And then white men might can't jump, but white men sure can run routes because Cooper Kupp is out there killing people. And if you want to go something and be dangerous and be fascinated, watch Cooper Kupp run routes. The Los Angeles Rams are as explosive as the Arizona Cardinals, and I trust them more when their coach has to dial up a play and their quarterback is locked in as he's ever been. Matthew Stafford's the league MVP right now, and Sean McVay's the coach of the year.
Well, let me tell you something right now. Christian, listen. Christian Kirk is no slouch. I know he's not white, but he's no slouch. He can ball. Again, you got D-Hop. you got D-Hop and A.J. Green, and they can ball. And by the way, getting to the point, I don't want to hear about me sitting pretty and chilling instead of doing the real grunt work when I'm the one in the studio and somebody's home most of the time. That would be you doing shows from your house, okay? Chilling, all right? You live a very, very comfortable life, I might add. Okay,
so if they paid me what they paid you, I would do a show from the moon. What are you talking about? I do what I'm paid to do.
Are you at a loss for words right now?
I have done shows from garages. I did all of these before I got my contract. Okay, so and I'm gonna still do it. I'm gonna amp it up. That's what I do. All right, now let me get back to you. Okay,
get out of each other's pockets.
You know what? We're not in each other's pocket. We just explaining what's in each other's pocket. That's a different ballgame. Here's the deal, though. In the end, Molly, Ryan, here's the deal. The Cardinals, Kyler Murray completed 76% of his passes. Yeah. The brother listen, if you're a dual threat in the National Football League during this time in the game's history, it's going to be a huge, huge plus for you. Matthew Stafford has been great. I have no doubt that he will continue to be. I love Sean McVay. I can't wait to get to SoFi. Yeah. You understand? I'm going to make sure I get there over the next 2 weeks or so. I'm looking forward to all of it. But in the end, when you look at the ability to make plays, Kyler Murray right now is something special to behold. And I can't ignore that, bro. I just can't.
Right. No, he's fun. He's fun to watch, but I still trust the Rams more. I trust Sean McVay more, and I trust Matthew Stafford more in this offense. Yeah. I think they have the perfect combination.
Well, the question was about dangerous. It wasn't about trust.
We're mincing words now. Right. Matthew Stafford, best QBR in the league. And they're favored by 4. Mm-hmm. Let's carry on. Perk's coming on soon. I'm using his words. Up ahead, it was the best of times, pretty much all the time. Or was it? Why Brady is going out for blood on Sunday. According to Ryan, it's just another game, though. Plus, Kyrie Irving, no stranger to controversy time and time again. Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal has seen and heard enough.
Always been built around his legs. So it was kind of surprising to see, what was said. And even going back to, the reason we signed out is, we got rid of Jimmy, which I still think it was a mistake, just to make sure that, he needed the ball in his hands, and, that's the decision they made. Like I said, it is surprising, but I'm really focused on the guys that are here. The situation is weird, disappointing, borderline kind of disrespectful to all the guys that are out here, fighting for their lives. Some guys rely on, the team to be successful, to stay in the league and make money.
All right. Big Perk is here, NBA champion Kendrick Perkins. Great to have you, Perk. Stephen A., I'm going to start with you, and I want to make sure that I didn't misquote him. He said it's borderline disrespectful. What do these comments say to you?
Well, that Joel Embiid is getting tired of all of this noise about what Ben Simmons doesn't want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like, wait a damn minute. You know, we were in the postseason. I showed up. You didn't show up. And, you know, the thing that everybody has to understand that players are feeling about Ben Simmons right now, and I'm not saying they're casting any aspersions on him outside of Joel Embiid or whatever because they want him back. But the flip side to it is that there are people that are sitting back and going like this, the nerve of you. You don't show up. You don't work on your jump shot. You don't work on your free throws, and you the victim. That's not how sports works. You're a victim when you do the job and you're not appreciated for the job that you do. Not when you're greatly appreciated and people give you a pass on a lot of things, but somehow, some way you don't produce and it's other people's fault. Mm-hmm. That's what no one's hearing from Ben Simmons. You shot 33, 34% from the free throw line. Shaquille O'Neal shot free throws better than you. Wilt Chamberlain shot free throws better than you. Dennis Rodman shot free throws better than you. I mean, this is some all-time epic futility. So Joel Embiid is like, what the hell going on here? Now we hearing about you don't want to play with me? What? But having said that, one could argue they're not the ideal pair. One could argue that Joel Embiid gets drafted 3rd overall in 2014, misses his first 2 seasons, even though Ben Simmons got drafted in 2016, missed his first full season. Joel Embiid missed 2 seasons. Joel Embiid has never played more than 64 games in the season. He's missed his share of games. He missed 21 of the 72 games last year. These are legitimate injuries, of course, but nevertheless, that was an issue.
Yeah.
And so you understand what Ben might be saying. It's just that you ain't in no position to be feeling these things right now if you've Ben Simmons in the eyes of a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Perk.
Well, I mean, there's several things that I took from what Joel Embiid said. One is that he's ready to sign them papers in his Usher voice, because that marriage is over. After that interview, is no, fixing that, okay? That's the first thing. Second of all, right, he didn't tell a lie. He didn't tell one lie. And when you look at what he said, when you talk about them losing Jimmy Butler to keep Ben Simmons, he didn't lie about that. Everything that the Philadelphia 76ers did, the moves that they did, getting Seth Curry, getting Danny Green, more shooting, more spacing, it wasn't because of Joel Embiid. It was to accommodate Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid could play with anybody. Ben Simmons can't. Okay, third of all, this is what we're not realizing in that message. You know, I'm appreciating Joel Embiid for his leadership, because the season is about 2.5 to 3 weeks away. Now he's knowing that Ben Simmons is not coming, but he knows that, hey, I got to worry about the guys in this locker room. We got to be ready to go to war. So I'm going to go out here publicly, because Ben Simmons is not answering the phone or returning anybody text messages. So I'm going to jump out here publicly, and I'm going to go into the fence and speak up not only for myself, organization, but for my teammates. And he gave us the edit version. God knows what he is saying behind the scenes in the locker room, saying, hey, let's get it, man. Look, he don't want to play with us, whatever. I've been in locker rooms like that. And I'm going to say this. People better be careful and watch out for the Philadelphia 76ers, because things like this only bring a ball club closer. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get off to a hot start and be one of the best teams in the NBA.
Hold on, Perk. I got you. Before we move on, because we got to move on to another subject. Really quickly, Molly and Perk. Ben Simmons saying that and Perk highlighting that it's over also kind of made things difficult for the Sixers as well, because now it's almost like you got to get rid of Ben Simmons even more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And other teams know that.
And remember,
so they might try to cut back.
Big Perk's right 70% of the time, all the time. You know those statistics. The NBA, I love you, Perk, has reached the 95% vaccination threshold of its players, reflecting a steady rise that's great since the opening of training camps this week. League sources told ESPN on Thursday a player still believed not to be vaccinated is Kyrie Irving. With his Nets, one of the favorites to win it all, they are the favorite. What to do about Kyrie with his questionable availability, considering New York's vaccine mandates, has been a hot topic. Most recently, Shaq weighed in on what to do about Kyrie. Here's the big fella.
I would go upstairs and say, get him up out of here. Get him up out of here. We go in with a 2-punch and a great shooter and some rebounders like we got. Get his ass up out of here. Because now every day I have to answer questions about him and what he's doing. Get his ass up out of here. Whoever owns the Brooklyn Nets, get him up out of here.
Wow. I want to start with you here, Perk. That's a really strong take. Obviously, we all know the talent, but it's starting to become some trouble with it as well. I know it's a big personal decision. What's your reaction to what Shaq just said, that they should get rid of him?
Well, you know what? Shaq is absolutely right. And here's why, right? And to me, he's sending a message to the franchise player, the guy that holds the keys over there, and Kevin Durant. And we all know that, yes, Sean Marks is the general manager and he's, he makes the trades and come up with it running the front office. But guess what? Everything is ran by Kevin Durant. And so Shaq is saying, I was a franchise guy. I was that dude. And look, if you're trying to win a championship, you need everybody to be 100% in. Now I know it's a touchy subject when it comes down to being vaccinated and things to that nature. I'm not here to dive into that. But he's telling Kevin Durant, hey man, listen, you have a chance to do something. You have James Harden. Don't let this man be a distraction. Sometimes you gotta be man enough to walk upstairs and pull the plug.
I don't disagree with you, Perk. Listen, Kyrie is box office, bro. This brother is sensational. Pound for pound, one of the greatest talents we've ever seen. He's just special. And when he's on the court, I think he's going to give you all he's got. I'm not here to question that. But he has given us every indication that basketball is not a priority for him. There are other things that matter to him far more. From one positive standpoint, his heart, in terms of his humanitarianism, what have you, I got to give props to that because there's a lot of things going on in this world and he cares about it and he feels he has the power to make a difference and he doesn't deserve to be excoriated for that. The flip side is that the reason you're in the position to do some of the things that you have done from a charitable and philanthropic perspective is because of the money you earn playing basketball. And when you take that into account, there comes an obligation to the league and the brand. There comes an obligation to your players, to your teammates. And more importantly, there comes an obligation to Kevin Durant. Because we all know Kevin Durant is in Brooklyn because Kyrie Irving wanted to go in Brooklyn. And that's his brother. And KD didn't mind going with him there. And even though KD ain't saying nothing publicly, and who knows how he feels privately, because I don't know, because I haven't spoken to him, the reality is that he should be annoyed. He should be upset. Because at the end of the day, I'm here and you're not. Why are you not here if you are Kyrie Irving? I don't give a damn what's going on. If I'm Kevin Durant, I don't give a damn what's going on. Yo, bro, I understand it's this training camp, and that means you're going to be here for the season or whatever. But like Kyrie Irving has been warned in the past, he says stuff and he brings a level of unwanted media attention to the franchise that they have to deal with. Last year, you start off media day, you calling the media peons. You know they're not going to forget that. You talking about there's things that are far more important and trying to belittle and big up everybody. And then you have this going on. They're not going to forget. He got himself, he got his daddy, he got his friends and loved ones speaking up and defending because they love him and they know his heart is in the right place. And I'm not here to question whether or not Kyrie's heart is in the right place. A matter of fact, I'll tell you his heart is in the right place. My problem is that don't make you right in what you choose to do. And it don't make you unselfish in what you choose to do. It still makes you look selfish. And for him to even be in this situation where the Brooklyn Nets have to open the season addressing this stuff is ridiculous. Now, you saw me on the record. Mayor de Blasio chiming in and talking about get the vaccine. Deal with the police officers that you steward over as mayor of New York City before you talk about an NBA player. And let's understand if you're the NBA, that Kyrie Irving and the Andrew Wiggins of the world may have a point when they say, oh, we can't play home games in the Barclays Center or the Chase Center, but visitors could come there and play. There's an inconsistency there that makes no sense. The problem is Kyrie, because of his past, the things that he has said, the attitude that he has had, the manner in which he comes across is so damn aloof all the time. He forces people like us to call him out on it And then he blames everybody else instead of looking at himself. KD is going to have to step in and say, enough of this nonsense, bro. You might be right, but damn it, we got a job to do. Let's do it.
All right, we got to roll. Big Perk, tell Stone I said what's up and keep putting in that work.
Stone!
Still to come on First Take. Bye, Perk.
Little Perk.
Tom Brady has never been shocked.